Letha?
You know, it seems like the time has come to just solve the problem in the way that appears to be the most sensible. We're already talking about $20,000. In order to get anything done on time, we'd have to decide tonight. We were talking about $80,000 in the lamp that we didn't need. I mean, why can't we just finally bite the bullet and go in and do the job right, if it can be done in time? That's the question I'm asking the council.
Beverly?
Well, I agree with what Letha is saying. I think if we can get the golf course off the city water system, that's what we should have been doing. It's the conservation thing to do. And if looking at watering half one day and half the next day, I mean, coming up with a good conservation plan, it's leading by example. It's good. Spending $20,000 for something that doesn't really solve any problems, but just changes a valve out seems absolutely counterproductive to me. We keep saying we. Is we dig the ditch means you're doing the work, or is the city doing the work? Are we looking at a private contractor, an RFP? What's the we?
Yeah.
The city staff would be partnering with Billy and his staff. We have to work together on this. He knows that irrigation system better than city staff knows that irrigation system. But the city would use our equipment and our personnel along with some rental equipment that potentially Billy and some of his folks. So I believe we have to partner with this if we want to make this happen on time.
You know, we're in the golfing season right now, so we're going to have to do this diligently to be able to keep play going. But it's just like anything else I've done in since I've been there since 2001. You know, we just do what needs to be done to make this thing successful.
Well, I agree with that, but I mean, putting an RFP out for somebody who actually builds ponds for a living could save us a significant amount of money.
It takes time to do an RFP, though.
Did you say, Billy, that you could work this year, or at least a portion of this year, with the pond the way it is if we got the pump in there?
Yeah, I think it's possible. We need to explore. We need to figure out how much water we can actually get down that ditch, and get kind of for me to get an accurate idea of how many. If we could produce about 800 gallons a minute coming into that pond during the night while it's being taken out, I think we could do that. Yes.
That sounds like a solution.
I know.
Roger?
Is there another well in that parking lot?
There is. The well's inoperable. It's not working now either.
Okay, so the city has a well, and it's why I asked it, is it's my understanding that well is a backup well. Say we get a fire and it takes out 3 of the watersheds up here, the drainages. That well's supposed to be there to tie into the water system. That's what I understand.
That's correct.
And it's inoperative?
Yes. It's also what I would use in a drought situation if I was pulled off the city water, which has happened in years past. I go to the well to fill up the pond, and at that point, I am watering the golf course one side at a time.
Now I'm talking about the one that's supposed to be in the parking lot by a power pole.
Right, and it's the same well that I'm talking about. It's
How long's it been inoperative?
A year.
Good.
We use the ASR well currently for our backup supply rather than the golf course well, just because it puts out more water, to answer Councilor Cole's concern.
This is a...
Letha?
I'd like to ask Jeannie if there is flexible money in our budget so that we could authorize X amount of dollars to get this thing moving, to accomplish it in stages as it's necessary.
Well, the most flexibility right now is in the general fund. Obviously, the golf course fund does not have enough appropriated. If we were to transfer money and appropriate additional funds into the golf course, we could do that. If you decide to go with one of these options. Right now, what's appropriated in the budget is the $3,500 for the original backflow device that we estimated during the budget time. However, I will caution you, we have the $80,000 transfer that we didn't make With the 20,000 estimated for the backflow, we're in a deficit in that fund of 52,000 already. So that only leaves 28,000 of that 80,000 that's out there. If you're just looking at the funds from the transfer. We also had savings, fire department roof, we would need to do some budget corrections, you know, to move money around, absolutely. We did have some savings on our capital projects. So yes, there is some flexibility. You will see a budget resolution that will correct where those funds are allocated.
Okay. I'd like to make a motion to fix it, to authorize the amount of money required, monitored by Mike and Jeannie, to solve the problem the way it's been outlined and that Michelle has essentially priced it at.
Are you recommending option 2?
I don't know.
Pond, yes.
Yes, but I also want
Do it
to,
in stages, maybe.
huh?
Maybe we need to do it in stages, though, if they need to.
I'm just saying, the money's there for the project. They can do it in stages, or they can do it however they can do it to accomplish the goal, not to exceed $50,000 without coming back to us.
I will report back at the next meeting with the timeline and the process that we can make, the progress that we could make this year, and if we have to delay anything to the next budget year, what that would be. So I will come back to you at the next meeting with that information.
Well, yeah, and it's got to work for Billy, because we don't want to hear about needing $18,000 still for a backflow device if we're going forward with this.
Okay, what's your motion exactly?
The motion exactly is to go forward with getting the pond ready to provide the water that's necessary, not to exceed $50,000 without coming back, and to move as quickly as possible.
It's going to have to be quick that we do this, but, you know, one other little option is to, I'm not sure what it's going to take to get the well back together, but the well, we can fill up the pond with the well, so if we get the well operable, and we can be, at least I can water one half the golf course at a time.
Well, I'm hearing that everybody believes that if we move with the pond, there will be enough done in time for you to do water.
When's the next meeting that you're proposing coming up with the cost?
I'm proposing that we get moving on it.
Get
and I'll
moving
report
is
to
what
that.
that's why I'm making the motion.
I didn't understand.
So
I'm
I'll
making
need
the
your,
motion to authorize
Right, I'm
moving
sorry.
ahead. I don't know if it's going to pass.
Okay.
But the point is, you get going on it, because this is not predicated on seeing X amount of money spent toward the pond and then having to put in the backflow device too. It either has to work or not.
I'll get my shovel out.
Yeah, good plan. Well, that's just a motion. Nothing else has happened to it yet.
I'll second the motion.
Okay, any discussion? Becky, would you please read back that motion? Okay, correct me if I'm wrong.
She got the first one.
Okay.
Authorize enough money to fix it, but not to exceed $50,000 without further approval.
Something like that.
And that's fixing the pond.
The
Yeah, I was
pond.
going to go back and listen to it to record exactly the way she said it.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, but maybe it's not as good as the way it's come out.
Jean, you had a comment?
I got a question.
Sam, Jean, did you have a comment, Jean?
Yeah, I just wanted to comment that at the next meeting, certainly we can proceed with working on this. We do have some flexibility in the general fund, certainly, but I will come to the next meeting with a budget resolution
Absolutely.
that reorganizes, basically reallocates where the appropriations are going to be in
Yes.
order to properly
I wouldn't
present
do
this
without you.
budget.
Thank you, Jean. Sam?
Let's